we're the actors in a TV show, and we're being monitored by all kinds of ETs from different star systems.
Yes, correct. Mm-hmm.
And so what we have to do now is, what is your job is just to awaken people to get themselves prepared, because we're not going to change the ending of the scenario. The more I get from different ET information that I'm traveling around the world with other people that are in contact, we just got ourselves, I don't know where to be at this minute, frankly. I've got people who have left and gone down to Ecuador. I had a condo down there the last couple of years. Because you got to be south of the equator to be safe. You're not going to be. We're all going to be affected. There's not people that are going to be safe places here. They're going to be safe places every place. But each one of them has to ask for guidance from within. Because there's nobody going to come save us. This is a do-it-yourself job.
Okay. And did you have any kind of estimated timeline? Because my understanding of the 26,000 years is that it is a water cycle. Everyone's talking about this other stuff, but it's really a water cycle. So regarding what you see coming down the pipe for people that are conscious, with as you say, with the mandate to awaken others, what kind of rough estimate timeline do you currently have that would give us some kind of heads up so we'll know what kind of time frames we're dealing with here?
Well, something. The cycle to me, everybody originally set the motion of the plan 2000. But the truth is, I think the matter really starts. The increases of the earth changes are going to be the year 2012 up to the year 2024.
Okay.
So we got the next 12 years of the earth changes. Meanwhile, the bad guys on the planet, if you want to call them that, politics is two words. I don't know if you know that. Poly means many, and ticks are bloodsuckers.
Blood-sucking, that's right. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and listen. Thank you, George. Thanks, Robert. I'm going to continue to listen. You can hang up on me.
All right, thanks, Flash. Take care.
Bye-bye.
So that was actually a question I was going to ask you, George. I feel like 2012. There's some things that have to take place in 2012. Obviously, the London Olympics in 2012 is a very big deal. It's a mega ritual. They need to have this thing. That's gonna take place. And then we've got this election coming up. Do you think we're actually going to have an election, George, or do you think that's going to be suspended?
Well, the only way they could suspend it is if they started a war. So you got these kind of games going, and I think that's the next game, because Congress is not doing anything. I mean, like you say, we got the best Congress money can buy. I mean, actually, our congressmen should have a football uniform on the back of it and see who their corporate sponsor is. That's what it amounts to. Yeah. It's unfortunate it's that way, because you always follow what the money is, and the other problem is like Kissinger said, the absolute aphrodisiac is power.
Right.
Well, you put these guys. You got 530 plus people up there that have all the power in the world to control within their own section, but they're all attorneys, and they've mixed up the laws so bad that they have attorneys to figure out what attorneys have done. And they keep running the game through the so-called Supreme Court. Supreme Court of what? Because they keep changing those rules.
Right, absolutely.
So you and I are living in a game of how do we get ourselves. My suggestion is to get you and your family as much as aware as possible. But your family is they're all, like I have 3 kids, and they're all in different parts of the country. Yeah. They're not interested in what Dad's doing over here. They got to survive themselves.
Right.
But they understand what's going on, but they're like everybody else. I got a paycheck coming in, or my son-in-law was out of work for a year. He finally got another job. But there's so many people. There's 23% of the people out of work in the country right now.
Yeah, the unemployment figures are so obscenely skewed right now. It's not even funny.
Well, all the newspapers and all the media. You know, you can't go to the only close. If you go to a public station, probably Fox has. That's a CNN thing. But they're fairly close on some of the information. But they put out what they want to do at the time.
Sure. George, what do you know about Ron Paul? Is he for real? Is he a good guy? Is he an inside guy?
No, he's a good guy. The only problem is he understands the system. When you get to Washington D.C., it's like if you got elected, Robert, right now, and you went to Washington D.C., you can't bring your staff, your friends with you. They provide you a staff that already knows what the games are.
Right.
So you got to go. And then it's a question of taking years to get up to the point they want. We should have politicians up there for one term only, period, and then get them going from there. All the rest of it, because they get too ingrained on the stuff. The other problem is they lose. It's like, Ted Kennedy, when I was with him. He ran around the country. They don't have any identification. They're put into office. Basically, they're there, and they're going to keep there. And the so-called elite group of these committees, and I sat in on a couple of them, the Democratic section and some of the Republicans, and they all say, well, we're going to fight it. That's because they're focused on what it's going. And I've always been voting for the business because business creates a job. Well, right now, Obama are telling everybody with their business, make it as cheap as you can. So put your company offshore.
Right.
In other words, go use the labor where it's cheaper. I mean, I was actually, a long time ago, was looking at the Maquiladora program down in San Diego. That's where there's a kind of a no man's land down there where you can go into Mexico, build all of the warehouses, and they're using Mexican labor, and they build everything and then bring it back over, and there's no duty, no nothing.
Right.
But you can use people. It's like when I flew with the vice president of Haynes Corporation down in Costa Rica. I owned a coffee farm down there. Uh-huh. And when I was with him, they have the Haynes, they manufacture all the briefs, the stuff that you're doing. Anyway, they were going to shut down the plants because the cost of the Costa Ricans were getting up to, $50 a day. And that was too much, so they were moving them all to Haiti because you can buy people for $1 a day. Think about that, Robert.
Yeah. Yeah, human capital. But so what about
a human resource?
Yeah, absolutely. Recently this movie, I don't know if you've seen it on the internet or heard about it. This movie Thrive came out. Do you know about Thrive?
No, I don't know anything about it. I haven't been watching it. I haven't seen a movie for quite a while.
Well, you may want to track this down, George. You might find it remotely interesting. Foster Gamble, who is the son of James Gamble, who is part of the Foster and Gamble mega fortune, just came out with a movie recently, and he's touting free energy, and basically saying there's a huge conspiracy, and the conspiracy to keep free energy from us, and he's got a number of people, Barbara Marx Hubbard, and Deepak Chopra, and your cast of new age characters, trying to reinforce this. And I was just wondering if you had any take on that, or Foster Gamble, or and since obviously you don't, you may want to check the movie out. I think you might find it interesting.
Well, I'll check it out. When it comes to the free energy device, John Bedini is a close friend of mine. In fact, we have lunch occasionally. Bedini is the father. He's kind of the Nikola Tesla, the current one. He and Tom Bearden, with all the free energy devices. Yeah. He's got probably 100 of them in his warehouse, which is only about a mile from my office. Uh-huh. To give you an idea. There's all kinds of magnetic motors of different things. He's got a huge job. And once a year for the last couple of years, they've had a big resort, and they've had people fly in from all over to go look at all this stuff. But it hasn't translated to anything out here. Now, the ETs say we've been looking at the wrong thing anyway. We should look at light and look at some like the pyramids where the capstones are. Right. Because basically taking light and amplifying on that in order to get all the energy we need. In fact, that energy, if you look at it, is the stuff that drives the extraterrestrial craft. Yeah. It's not none of this petroleum and all this stuff. That's killing the planet off.
Right. Absolutely. So what about gold and silver, George? Are they still good buys? Do people still need them?
Oh, you bet. I'm only 5 blocks from the mint. That's the reason why I'm here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So I get gold and silver for people. Whatever it costs me right now, it's like $1 over spot because the dollar is the cost for fabricating the silver. But anybody wants it, they can just get a hold of me and I'll get it for them. Okay. But that's not a problem. And gold, we primarily gold is a world market. Now, historically, as you know, the pirates all went after gold and silver. As a matter of fact, right now, they go with the pirate ships that are sunken and go after it. Everybody around the world takes gold. And if you look at South America right now, I'm watching the play between Ecuador and Venezuela, because Venezuela just took back all their gold that they had in England.
Right, I saw that. Yeah.
Okay, and what it's amounting to me, and I'm going to call down to Ecuador in a couple hours, because I can see them creating their own currency for Latin America. So that's what they're trying to do right now. Ecuador's on the dollar right now, but they just passed a law this week, so you can't take the dollar out of the country. They charge a 5% fee. Well, big deal. MasterCard and Visa's 3 to 4%. You know.
Right.
So
right.
It's just. Everybody's trying to get things squared away, and I'm looking at the same position that they are. But where do I put my money? I've got rid of all my real estate.
Yeah.
I mean, not all of it, but pretty close. I'd like to get rid of some more, but as you know, there's no lenders out here, and the lenders are the ones that establish the business.
Yeah.
So what's happening, I move all my money into gold and silver, and that's where my assets are. It's easily be used. The government has new rules in taking gold out of the country, however. But I can talk to your people if they call me,
okay.
and discuss all of that. And
okay.
again, you can just, if people want to find me, just take their computer and just Google George Green. I'm all over the place.
Well, certainly glad you were here today with us, George. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
So
well, I'm glad to help you in any way I can, Robert, and help your listeners that are on there, because we need to get the people wakened. And I suggest every one of your listeners, to get the handbook set.
Okay.
In physical if you want to, or go to my website. You can download the first 3 books for free.
Yeah. Well, there you go. It's a bargain in today's day and age, where yesterday, I went to a store, and it was $11.99. No, it was $8.99 for a pound of organic beef, ground beef. $8.99.
Yeah, and you got to be careful of the word organic when you come out here too, because I went to the National Health Food deal out here, and that certified organic is not 100%. So you look at it, you want to make sure that the beef is not set with the GMO modified things on it. So that's better than that. But you can do that. The local farmers and stuff know where that's at.
Yeah.
But you're paying the price, but that's nothing. Like I say, if I paid $18 for a hamburger over in Europe at McDonald's, what does that tell you?
That's true. It's all pretty relative. Well, listen, George, thank you again for your time. NoHoax.com is your website, and people can download the Handbook for the New Paradigm, and also
Embracing the Rainbow and Becoming. Yeah.
And then also, if they're interested in talking about gold and silver, they can do that there as well. So,
thanks
got
again,
it, George.
Get on me. Thanks, Robert.
Okay. Take care. All right, that was George Green. Well, I think we just ended that at 11:11. Am I right? It could be right. It's 11:12 now. NoHoax.com is George's website, and there's some chilling information. There's some very bracing information that he just shared with us, and I've been watching what's been taking place with the FEMA camps and SB 1867, and it's not heartening. It is really not heartening. So it's going to be interesting to see how all this gets played out. And I don't think it's going to happen all at once. There's going to be sort of incremental stages, and then ultimately there could be that moment where the power just drops out, or the disconnection of the internet takes place, the decoupling of the internet. But we can't live in fear. We can't cower over something that hasn't happened yet. So I guess the best axiom would be to be in this world but not of it, right? I mean, that's kind of the playbook, for the being human experience. Okay, it's 11:13 now, a minute after I just said it was 11:12. If you want to call in, you want to talk about the last hour, if you want to talk about what your thoughts are regarding some of George's material, if you want to talk about your own insight or your own feeling. I mean, here we are. We're the 9th of December. There's just a few weeks left here in 2011, folks, and then 2012 is right on us. And 2012, from an astrological perspective, is going to be one hell of a ride. And it actually starts tomorrow. Uranus goes direct, and at the same time, we have a major lunar eclipse